You know, there really are few things in this world as disgusting as a grown man trying to play the victim.
To my white people, I be seeing your little comments and stuff like that, saying like, "Who is we?" I wasn't a slave owner, and all of this and all of that and all that bull crap. I ain't trying to hear that. It doesn't matter if you was not a slave owner. You still benefited from your ancestors doing this stuff.
All right, so let's go ahead and start right here. First of all, sir, you are a grown-ass man trying to play victim to gain some sort of fucking benefit or pity, sympathy for something that happened to maybe your ancestors well over a century ago. What are you talking about, my guy? Do you even know for a fact that you are descended from slavery? Because the fact of the matter is that there are quite a few black Americans here today that have no tie whatsoever to the practice of slavery. They never had ancestors that were enslaved. Beyond that, you don't want to hear, oh, fucking, I don't want to hear this from white people, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I'm white or if I'm brown or what the fuck ever, because my father is Mexican or was Mexican. Well, really not. He's an American, but he's descended from Mexico. So there's half my family. The other half of my family wasn't in the United States until like the 1870s after slavery had ended. So please tell me how the fuck I am in some way indebted to you. But let's get a little further into the weeds. One, there were black slave owners. Two, 360,000 Northern Americans sacrificed their lives for the freedom of black slaves in America to put an end to the practice. You know how many people were in the country at that time? 31 million. It is today still the largest casualty rate of any war we have ever been, per capita and in raw numbers. More American lives sacrificed to end slavery here in this country than any other war in our history. So please tell me, does the North owe you? Or is it just the South? I mean, we say here, oh, well, if you're white, you benefited, blah, blah, blah. How? Please tell me. How did those 100,000 lives lost benefit? How did their families benefit from your slavery? And of course, it wasn't your slavery even. It was people that lived 200 years ago that happened to share the same melanin content as you.
All that family business, all that land that y'all have, all of that came from that.
Is this guy so disconnected from reality that he thinks just because if you're white, you own land and shit? I grew up in low-income housing. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, brother? I don't own land now. I'm almost goddamn 40. It's a fight just to keep the cars running. Please explain to me where the fuck all my wealth is. Does somebody owe me? Or do we owe you? I'm confused.
So, it doesn't really matter. Y'all are not doing anything to fix the subject. All y'all trying to do is point fingers at your ancestors.
Do we need to reiterate that 360,000 lives were sacrificed to end slavery in America? Talking about you didn't do enough. What the fuck are you talking about? More than 250,000 Americans gave their lives so that your supposed ancestors could be free.
No. You need to be like, what can I do to fix what my ancestors has broken? Instead of trying to say, no, I didn't do it, that wasn't me. But it was your family. So I'm not really trying to hear this and that. I'm not trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear about no average folks that was slave. You know, I ain't trying to hear about no, we didn't own slaves. We was too poor. So if what you're saying is, if you wasn't too poor, you would have had you a slave. That's basically what you're saying.
Now, trying to hold all white people accountable for the actions of some white people in the past is the same as trying to hold all black people today accountable for the violence committed in the inner cities. Both are inherently racist, but he wants to play that game, so let's go ahead and play that game. I'd like to introduce you to a few tribes. This is the Ashanti of present-day Ghana. This is the Yoruba of present-day Nigeria. And these are the Imbangala people of present-day Angola. And we could go on, Kingdom of Congo from obviously present-day Congo and I think part of Angola. The Namawazi of present-day Tanzania. Now, if you haven't figured out why it is I'm introducing you to these tribes yet, it's because these were the major players on the African side of the Atlantic slave trade. These were empires and large tribes that through warfare, conscription, criminal punishment, enslaved people of their own color, people from Africa, to sell to Europeans and colonists. So please tell me, where does their accountability come in, sir? Are you sure you're not descended from one of those tribes rather than an enslaved person that was brought here? Please tell me, why are you not asking for those that originally took the slaves, the original slaves of the Atlantic slave trade, the people that actually took them from their homes? Because it wasn't, though many people don't know this, wasn't actually Europeans or white folks going into the African continent and just fucking kidnapping, tribesmen. No. They were sold by other Africans. So, how do you place that blame, sir? Can you explain that one to me? Are you petitioning Africa for reparations? And beyond that, and this is going to be controversial, but it is the fucking truth. Please tell me, would you rather be anywhere in Africa today? Where on the African continent would you rather be than here in America? And if you have an actual answer to that, if you have a location in Africa, you're fucking delusional. Because nowhere in Africa will your life be as good as it is here, sir. You want to play this victim and, maintain this delusion that you somehow lack rights or opportunities because of something that happened over a century ago that was demolished through the sacrifice and suffering of hundreds of thousands of the people that you're trying to lay blame on. Matter of fact, after the revolution, or the Civil War, Congress, the United States government, purchased land in Africa and created the nation of Liberia and offered all freed slaves the opportunity to move back and have their own nation on the African continent. They didn't all leave. Why haven't you gone, sir? Because you know that your life here is as good as it's ever gonna fucking get. And you're grifting. You're looking for a fucking handout. And you're doing it by playing the victim. You disgusting motherfucker. Now, as ridiculous as all this is, he actually ends this with the most absurd statement yet.
That land that y'all own, that's ours. Y'all came over here and took our everything, might as well say.
And right there lies, to me, the most absurd statement of this entire fucking video. To sit here and lament about the oppression, the historical oppression of your racial demographic due to slavery in America, and then completely discount the genocide of the Native American population that was here, committed halfway intentionally, halfway unintentionally, largely as just a circumstance of the intermingling of, different immuno ecosystems. But for him to sit there and be like, what is he implying when he says that they came here and took everything from them and that this is their land? Is he implying that he's a Native American? Because he's fucking clearly not. So that right there is the most absurd thing to me. It's disgusting to sit and put your victimhood at such a high place that slavery of people you may or may not be connected to is more important than the genocide of the people that were here originally. That's fucking wild.